The Humanzee. A cross between a human and another creature sound impossible, yet it's been done before. If you are white, you have anywhere from 1 to 4% Neanderthal genetics, because some ancient humans crossbred with them. Some people may think Neanderthals were just old school human, but that's not correct. They were just another type of hominid, like chimps and gorillas. Now the Humanzee, it's exactly like what it sounds like, a human and a chimp. The Russians were said to complete this experiment, but no proof exists. Two cases stick out in particular, Oliver, the Humanzee, and the Deloy's ape. But Oliver was extraordinary, with human-like facial expressions, and was thought to have complex thoughts. After his death, it was said they switched out his DNA samples, so he would show up as full chimp to protect further experimentation. What do you think? Could chimps and humans really mix like Neanderthals did? Or is it maybe just sick or wishful thinking? The Slenderman Killers. A tall, pale man with no facial features yearns for death, but he himself does not kill. He calls upon the help of children to take the victims into the woods and take their lives. An urban legend to most, but a reality for Peyton, all 12 years old. Her two best friends claim to be contacted by Slenderman and lured young Peyton out of her house at nighttime during a sleepover, said to be a casual walk. Once deep enough into the woods, they lunged at her. Young Peyton begged for mercy, clueless at why her friends had turned on her and attacked her. When all was said and done, they stabbed her 19 times, left Peyton there to die, and went home as nothing ever happened. Peyton was found on a nearby road, and in bad condition. She began recovering 6 days later, but worst of all, the two would-be murderers were not found guilty by the plea of mental disease. One event caused two young girls to end their happy life over an ominous dark figure. The end of the world. Throughout history, many people believed at many different times the world would be over soon. Number 5. 1910. Halley's Comet passed, and many believed the gas let off would end the world, buying gas masks and comet pills. Just like every 75 years, it just passed peacefully. Number 4. The Y2K bug said all computers and electronics wouldn't pass from 1999 to 2000, causing the collapse of civilization. Some people even took their own lives, not wanting a long, drawn-out death. But it turned out fine. Number 3. 2008. The most powerful particle accelerator was created, and people thought it would make a giant black hole that would suck up everything. It just made tiny black holes that disintegrated immediately. Number 4. May 21st, 2011. Jesus was supposed to come back, but yeah. Number 1. And the biggest, 10% of the world believed the Mayan calendar scare of 2012. It was supposed to end the world December 21st, 2012. And even thought myself, that might just happen. How do you think the world will end? 5 interesting stuff, part 2. Number 5. A prime example of why keeping your door closed during a fire. The main house is burnt to a crisp, but over in the master bedroom, it looks virtually untouched thanks to the door. Number 4. These are 3 hostages and their kidnapper in a bank in Stockholm, Sweden. And they're the reason for the term Stockholm Syndrome. They defended their capture in court, and they wouldn't even testify against him. Number 3. Albino animals have the genetic mutation where they lack melanin. But, do you know the opposite? Melanistic animals are deep black versions, though humans cannot develop this condition. Number 2. The tallest confirmed man in history is Robert Wadlow. He stood a whopping 8 foot 11 inches, 1 inch shy from 9 feet, and he passed away at the young age of 22. Number 1. The oldest president in history is Donald Trump, which is why he wears so much spray tan and a fake hairpiece, because if he didn't, he would look like. What is a fact that could possibly save your life? Part 2. If you have a cut that gets infected and see a streak of red going up from it, go to the doctors immediately. It is a sign of serious infection that could lead to sepsis. If you've gone 2 or more days without water, and you have to choose between drinking water without any way to sanitize it, or not drink water, drink the water. If you don't, you will definitely die soon. Most of the diseases you can get from bad water take a couple of days to set in, which gives you more time to find help. If you ever find yourself caught in a riptide, swim parallel to the shoreline until you can get out of the riptide. Swimming directly back to the shore while caught in one won't get you anywhere, and it will only exhaust you, making it extremely dangerous to do so. If you ever come in contact with a gorilla, especially a male, stay low and quiet, and no sudden moves. Do not look at them in the eyes. They take loud noises and movement as a challenge, and they'll crush you like a soda can. Check that there's toilet paper before you're committed. The world's oldest. Number 3. Born in Japan, 1903, Kane Tanaka is the oldest living person alive, which means when she was born, it was a completely different set of human beings on the planet. Number 2. The oldest living cat was born in 1967 and was from Austin, Texas. Her name was Cream Puff, but sadly, she passed away in 2005, making her a whopping 38 years old, young for a human, but extremely old considering cats' lifespan are from 2 to 16 years. Number 1. Methuselah, a Bristol cone pine tree located in California White Mountains, has the title for oldest living tree. This here is the second oldest, and the oldest is actually under protection. No pictures exist, mostly to preserve it and stop vandals from killing it. Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Top 3 close calls with death. Number 3. A young boy and his father were picking pine buds on a hill in Italy when they came face to face with a brown bear. At any moment, the bear could have attacked. Luckily, he was just curious. The boy's calm demeanor saved him from a gruesome bear attack. Number 2. A cyclist minding his own business on an afternoon ride where a lumberjack was not following protocol but was going to cut down a tree. The cyclist misses his death appointment by mere seconds and gets to continue on living. But it shows just why logging workers actually rank for the number 1 most dangerous job in the world. Number 1. Narrow roads, pouring rain, and high speeds. Cause a trucker to lose control while cutting a corner, also trying to avoid a moped. A crash ensues, but luckily the driver's slight turn to the left is the only reason they still have their lives. Top 3 interesting TikTok accounts. Number 3. Now Red. Though he only has 20 videos, if you follow him anywhere else, you know of his extensive background in chemistry. He performs the closest thing to real-world magic, and though you may not know the words he's saying, it's cool to feel intellectual listening to a smart man talk. Number 2. Handsome Magician. A charming old man that has a retro editing style. Some people describe it to be more as a fever dream, but I dig it. Number 1. Leica Studios, showing the behind the scenes of stop motion can really open your eyes to just how long a single scene can take. Just watch out, it's easy to get lost in just a single video of theirs because of that oddly satisfying aspect. Number 0, me. Watch them videos, boy. Top 3 freak shows, part 4. Number 3, Pip and Flip, a sad story of 2 young girls, the youngest born March 2nd, 1901. They grew up very poor, and their mother got by loaning the 2 girls to various freak shows who advertised them as pinheads. They were sisters and best friends until August 27, 1934, when Pip, real name Jenny Lee Snow, passed away. She was in her early 20s. Number 2. Mirandejo. He claimed to be invulnerable, making money by letting people stab him and swallowing razor blades. That is until 1947, when he started performing. Out of the blue, one day he claimed voices told him to swallow a steel needle, which led to an aortic rupture, and that caused his death. Number 1. The Two-Headed Lady. Millie and Christine McCoy were born into slavery, sold to P.T. Barnums at the young age of 3. They traveled the world performing for 30 years, exploited as a novelty act, and once even kidnapped. The impact of Anonymous. First, who is Anonymous? Self-identified as a decentralized virtual community, they are known as hacktivists, who want mass awareness and revolution against powerful corrupt institutions, all the while never revealing their own personal identities. Starting in early 2003, they break laws to find out the truth. They don't fight for good, nor evil, just real answers. They have completed projects such as WikiLeaks, exposing big bank scandals, and uncovering hundreds of destroyed documents linking Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Most recently, they have threatened to release tons of cover-ups made by the Minneapolis Police Department, who are known for being one of the most violent and corrupt in the US. They are sort of necessary vigilantes, bent on finding out the truth for the common folk of America. No political standings, no real leaders. Just what we should have already been given. The truth. Top 3 most credible UFO sightings. Number 3. The Phoenix Lights. In 1997, well over 10,000 people admitted to witnessing huge round aircrafts, with round lights flying low over Phoenix. Witnesses reported the lights being 1 to 8 miles long from a V-shaped aircraft, flying low and silent. Number 2. USS Nitmas UFO incident. In 2004, the USS Nitmas aircraft carrier was off the coast of San Diego when one of the fighter jets spotted a strange object. The footage shows a tic-tac-shaped object taking off at such high speed, the camera couldn't even keep track. Number 1. Roswell. The most well-known and heavily documented case in UFO history happened in Roswell, New Mexico. July 8, 1947. Colonel Branchard informed the press informant they had found a flying saucer. That same day, the Air Force changed their story. People account seeing small gray aliens alongside materials not known to man. What do you think? Have aliens been to Earth? Was it an elaborate cover-up or a big misunderstanding? This is what it looks like when I make a video. The world's oldest. Number 3. Born in Japan, 1903, Kane Tanaka is the oldest living person alive, which means when she was born, there was a completely different set of human beings on the planet. Number 2. The oldest living cat was born in 1967 and was from Austin, Texas. Her name was Cream Puff, but sadly, she passed away in 2005, making her a whopping 38 years old, young for a human, but extremely old considering cats' lifespan are from 2 to 16 years. Number 1. Methuselah, a bristlecone pine tree located in California White Mountains, has the title for oldest living tree. This here is the second oldest, and the oldest is actually under protection. No pictures exist, mostly to preserve it and stop vandals from killing it.